So a podcast dropped right before Thanksgiving, and they went through my book and a ton of podcasts that I've been on. They made accusations that I embellished things in the book to make myself look bigger than I am, and they accused me of stolen valor. They did this to keep veterans accountable, and to hold a standard. Right after that, they said that they dropped one of their ads for one of their 6 major sponsors, and as it played, wow, I'm sure it has nothing to do with why they're targeting me. But on my episode, their numbers were way up. Weird, probably a coincidence that their biggest episodes involved Marcus Luttrell, Rob O'Neill, Jocko Willink, and now me. I think it's totally hypocritical and it's intellectually dishonest to be pretending that you're in the moral high ground and then misrepresenting facts, lying, paraphrasing, and then taking things out of context. They do financially better when they go after people with big followings, and thank God that, we have purists like them among us. So before I address the allegations against me, I want you to know that I knew this podcast was coming out. How? Because they contacted every single one of my teammates to try to get dirt on me. Almost everyone told them the same thing, that they weren't interested, and then they called me and let me know. A couple of people that I've never been on a team with, they talked to them, and that's totally their right. I'm not mad whatsoever, and they should tell their stories, just like I told mine. But this idea that there is some universal truth that is, the opposite of what I said is absolutely absurd. I am a Green Beret. I was a UFC fighter. I am a Special Forces sniper. I went to Sephardic. I'm a graduate. I went to Ranger School. I was part of Afghanistan during the evacuation. I went to Ukraine immediately following the Russian invasion. I'm an Iraq and Afghanistan combat veteran, and I didn't see anyone from the podcast in any of those places. War stories are never the same. And ask anyone who's been to combat or review board what happens when you interview 5 guys in the same battle. You're going to get 5 different stories. And if there's a feed running, you get a 6th. At the beginning of my book, I literally outlined that fact as clearly as I could. There's no chance that my version is 100% reality and accurate, but that is what I remember. It's reality to the best of my recollection, and that was supported with my journals and supporting interviews of other people throughout the whole entire book. With that being said, I want to address a few things. And not everything, because they went off for 3 hours about all of the things that I have done wrong and all of the inaccuracies. So let's get into it. Number 1, did I fail sniper school? And this is the intellectually dishonest thing where, and super hypocritical, because they're taking things out of context. Yes, I did fail sniper school. You could say that. What happened is, when I got my sniper school date, it was going to be 10 days before my own wedding. So I asked Sergeant Major Fernandez, Conrad Fernandez, if I could go to a different class. Man, and he gave me a tough pill to swallow. He says, yeah, man, but what you have to do is you have to show up on day 1, because if you no-show, we will lose our slot to a future course. And show up and you're going to have to fail. So I went 0 for 25 for the Special Forces Sniper School shoot-in. And then I went to the very next class and graduated. That's what happened. For Ranger School, man, that was 20 years ago. And this is just one of the failures of the editing and book process is I knew I was one of the honor graduates. I didn't know what award I got. And Nick, and the editor, complete failure and oversight. As an honor graduate, of me getting the tomahawk and getting the award with my team sergeant and my team leader, Ed Wings and Mike Gomez. Love you guys. 20 years removed, being a graduate, and then immediately going on another trip, I couldn't remember which award I got. So complete mistake on that part. Then for Sephardic, another thing that you took out of context. Yes, I have been to Sephardic 2 times. I've successfully completed Sephardic 2 times. I consider that a great and wonderful thing because it has a very high attrition rate. The first time I went to Sephardic, B-17, 7th Group, Bravo Company, 1st Battalion, they were covering down on the C-37 mission in South America, while C-37 went to Iraq for that mission right there, to go and hunt and be part of a special operations task force hunting Zarqawi. For them to cover down on that mission, they had to have the skills that were taught during Sephardic. They've never sent an entire company before. I was already in C37, but you have to be a Sephardic graduate to be in C37. So this was my class to go to Sephardic. They didn't issue anybody the identifier for completing that Sephardic class because they taught an entire company. So went to Iraq, came back, and went back to Sephardic and graduated a second time. It's pretty awesome. The non-Purple Heart. First of all, it's insane that you're using like a 2011 DD-214 as your document of proof. You know, it's 13 years old now. A lot of things have changed in the career since then. But one of the things that wasn't on that DD-214 is a Purple Heart. I was injured while I was in combat, and you could watch. You can go back to fights in 2003, 4, 5, and 6, and you're going to see my neck and my back one way, and then from 2007, 8, 9, and till today, you'll be like, whoa, he looks significantly different. And you're going to notice a bunch of brown marks on my shoulder and my neck. What I didn't have is a chain of command, a direct chain of command. I was not on an ODA when I went to Afghanistan in 2008. I didn't have a team leader. I didn't have a team sergeant. I didn't have anyone putting me in for orders. When I came out of the Urizgan Valley after those ambushes, and then we made it back out of Firebase Anaconda by the grace of God and by the heroes to my left and to my right, like they're 100% the heroes in all of this. There's no one, I just wanted to stay in the fight. There was no one to put me in for any awards. There was no one there to do anything. I was a coalition asset traveling with a NATO allied partner in and out of that place. When I retire, when I'm no longer useful in the military, when I don't get to wear the uniform and the flag, which is like the greatest honor of my life, have the opportunity to be next to the men and women, the best and the brightest in this country. When that day comes, you know, and I'm sure I'm rounding the bend on it, I'll fix all that. I've never been the great paperwork guy, the great admin guy. I've definitely never been the guy that's going to walk into the med shed to have something get fixed. Like, we're going to fix it with the 18 Delta. And I hope that young soldiers are way smarter than me and that they don't do that, because it creates a lot more pain later in their career, as you can see. But yeah, that is not on my records, and that will get fixed when I finally hang them up. Another thing in the book, when I packed a bag, when we knew we were going to get ambushed, when we were leaving Firebase Anaconda, I told Nick that I packed these speed bags full of grenades and magazines. And Nick was like, how many did you put in there? I was like, I don't know, like a gazillion, as many as I could fit in there. And I don't know exactly how many grenades that you could fit into a bag. Maybe it is 50. What I know is that once we got shot at from a building, no one was flashbanging that building. We're throwing grenades in those windows. And thank God that I had great team sergeants that told me how to prepare and build things like that in anticipation for a big fight, which we were in. Was it 50? I don't know. I remember it was super heavy to pack it, but when I told Nick, it was like 25, it was 50, it was a gazillion, it was as many as I could get in the bag. That is accurate in the context of what we're saying. That is also true. You know, forgetting the names of fallen compatriots on podcasts, and I've done hundreds. By 2008, 2009, I couldn't go to the JFK Memorial on Fort Bragg anymore because we were having funerals every single weekend. And that sucks, man. It's like a knife straight to the heart. And when you're having Memorial Day and I can't remember their names, I sit down and try to jot the names. And I'm on a podcast, you know, there's lights on, and then I forget one of those names. Yeah, it freaking sucks. And for you to insinuate that I don't care about them, fuck you. Just fuck you. And I can keep going and going and going. But no matter how many things there are, and no matter how many answers I give, there will never be enough for some people. There'll always be about, but what about this? Or what about that? So I'm just going to stop here. It's shameful, and I think it's disgusting when somebody's pretending to be in a moral high ground, but they're attacking other veterans that is really just financially based. They're doing this to make money. They're doing this and they're attacking specific people like Jocko Willink, who's an amazing leader, who's an amazing person that put all of his faults into his book. That is exactly what I did with my book. That book is a history of faults. And the person that I was in the Creek gang in the first chapters is not the same person that went to Iraq. That was not the same person that went to Afghanistan. And that was not the same person that after I came back from the Valley of Death, went to Afghanistan again to help during the evacuation. There's been an adaptation, and not that like I've evolved in any way, shape, or form. Because I tell you what, I'm not a hero. I am not perfect. I'm absolutely a failure in more ways than I can count. But I'm trying to help people, and I'm never going to use my platform to attack people. I'm never going to use this platform to disparage another combat veteran. I'm going to keep doing the best I can with the resources I have to help as many people as I can, but I'm not just going to sit here and let people tell lies and take things out of context and paraphrase things that weren't how I meant them or what I said. I'm not going to attack anybody. I'm not going to lash out. I had a ton of people reach out with dirt, right, about the podcasters. And I'm not going to air in it, and I don't need any of it, so stop sending it to me. I realize that there's a lot. It doesn't matter. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to continue to try to help each other. We're going to try to continue to make America healthy and try to make this to continue to be the greatest country that's ever existed. And I want everybody to stay safe, and I want everybody to stay free.